have a very special person taking the stage who will be talking to us about what would be the in-demand tech jobs in 2023. And it is, of course, none other than Ms. Chia, who is the manager at Randstad, a recruitment agency. Now, this is, of course, based in Singapore, and she specializes in providing solutions for clients. So here to share the best things to do and the best jobs to join in 2023 in the tech industry, please join me in giving a warm round of applause to Ms. Chia.
Thank you. I hope the mic is okay. Hello everyone, thanks for joining today. I know the heat is very high outside, so this is pretty much your best place to be with the AC, and also to find out what is the in-demand job trends, and of course, exactly what jobs are being in demand in this coming year, 2023. Okay, so very quick introduction about myself. So myself is Chia. I'm from Taiwan, has been living in Singapore for 5 years now. Prior to moving to Singapore, I actually lived in the United States for almost 4 years as well. In San Francisco was pretty much the reason kind of sparked my interest in the tech space and startup scenes. So brings to you my current job. I'm the manager in Randstad. We're a global leading agency, recruitment agency. And then please feel free to scan the QR code if you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn. You never know, one day if you're an employer, if you're job seeker, the more connection, the better is on your LinkedIn. Yeah. So yeah, just get to know about our company, Randstad, quickly. Let me just play a quick 20 seconds video.
What's important to you at work. And by getting to know the real you, we can help you find it. Randstad, let's find work that feels good.
Awesome. Yeah, so quick introduction. We're a 63-year-old leading talent company. We do staffing, we do recruitment. Originally from Netherlands, and then of course a lot of European countries like France, Italy, Germany, of course, have our presence. Big North America presence as well, Canada, United States. And of course in Asia, Singapore is the APAC HQ. With our sister office in Malaysia, of course we have it in China and Hong Kong. Next slides. So yeah, what do we provide the service and what are the industry that we cover? So all white collar level of the recruitment service, we will provide across 10 industries, so very straightforward. I'm going to share with you, and you can also read it here as well. Accounting, finance, really critical as well. Legal, of course, myself, that I seated in the IT team. We have our sales and marketing, we have life sciences, and your healthcare, of course, construction, engineering, property, and then finally we have our HR, human resources. Yeah, so on our floor, we have about 150 people sitting strong in the Singapore office. We offer the white-collar level talent recruitment services to both of our clients, of course, potentially today, some of the audience, which is the job seekers. And so let me tell you some of the trends that you need to know in Singapore in this coming year, 2023. So yeah, this is the data from our Randstad survey and also our sponsor survey to kind of collect what will be happening by the year of 2027. So it will be approximately almost 70 million jobs to be created. But interestingly, on the other hand, there will be almost 83 million of jobs might be eliminated. And of course, at this point, everyone has already heard about the word AI. What is AI? We'll talk about it in the next couple of slides. The next one, obviously, is the technology adoption. So everyone here, we have all gone through the COVID years, right? The COVID year 2020, a lot of business, they had no choice. Your mom and pops, your SME, they have no choice but to adopt into the digital transformation. So the next one, of course, a continuing trend to be technology adoption will still remain a key business driver for the whole business transformation. So the third point, of course, we will go through in depth for the most in-demand jobs. The first word, big word, artificial intelligence, our AI. Machine learning, we call it ML. Sustainability, we're also going to it, become one of our trendy jobs in 2023, is our green tech. The next one, business intelligence, BI, and finally, our information security. Yeah, so let's talk about numbers, right? So in the 11% of all the online jobs opening right now, out of it will be 11, almost 12,000 really, will be data analyst, data analytics jobs related. 410% increase in jobs in your software developers, programmers, and engineers. Essentially, these are all the same, but the nitty-gritty part, of course, separates them, the difference. 3,500 cybersecurity jobs. And I don't know if you guys heard about the word FAANG. So FAANG means Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. These big players and also our e-commerce brands are hiring. I'm sure that you are not feeling the most positive at this moment because we just heard about a lot of layoffs. Since last year, Q4, Google, Facebook, Meta, Netflix, Amazon, globally, they announced a lot of layoffs. But on the contrary, of course, they're preparing to hire more of the junior positions. And this is almost going to be 75% to be adopted to across e-commerce and digital trade business as well. We'll kind of foresee this kind of mass hiring for the more junior role / fresh grad just to meet the demands for the products and the services, of course. And of course, finally, not just the tech companies are hiring for IT workers. Of course, other businesses that's not in the tech sector, they're also looking to hiring tech workers. So yes, since to my last point, right? Non-tech companies are also hiring for full-time IT jobs. You don't have to necessarily work for Facebook, you don't have to work for Google. These are some of the focus area that you can consider and also look into because it will be in demand for these companies. The first area that they're focusing on is data. Data has been a buzzword for the last at least 2 to 3 years because nowadays in this generation, data speaks a story. Data tells the truth. So every company, they need data to tell their brand story, right? They need to have the data and the numbers to base on. So data jobs, what are the data jobs? Data scientist, database administrator, data engineer, and data analyst. These are, in my job, I'm seeing it on a day-to-day basis, every day. The next one will be on our manufacturing. So a lot of manufacturing company, they actually were hiring a lot of software engineer, system engineers, and data scientists because again, data speaks the story. So it doesn't matter whether you're a tech company or a non-tech company, you need that to kind of perceive a look for your company. So then of course also the technologists for the production and DevSecOps, DevSecOps meaning development, security, and operation engineer. That's really important because manufacturing, you have that kind of infrastructure side. The third part, the focus area, will be our automobile, right? So again, we do a lot of e-car, right? That's definitely on trend right now. For those who operate, they will need an AI job, artificial intelligence, and of course, your test engineer, IoT, meaning the Internet of Things. The last one, of course, I think should be the least unfamiliar one to everyone here because now if you scan to pay, your pay now, your pay la is all in the fintech, financial tech area. In financial tech, there's also a lot of blockchain technology being adopted. The blockchain developer is very much big jobs, changed from last 2 years to definitely continue to the next year onwards. And then your UI UX, which is your web designer, cybersecurity job, and again, go back to our data analyst. Yeah, so we talk about jobs, right? Of course, the next question you will ask is, how much do they pay? How much do I earn from these jobs? So again, these are the data that all sourced from our Randstad survey, and of course, our Randstad candidates database, right? So my job is to talk to the candidates and also the clients on day-to-day basis. This is, again, an average range, but it shouldn't be going too crazy outside from there. Of course, there's always gonna be the outliers from the two sides of the extreme spectrum. But let's talk about blockchain developer. What does blockchain developer do? They do a lot of smart contract development. They usually have to come with computer science background for your academic, for their bachelor degree. And what are the programming languages? Golang, if you have heard of this name, congratulations. You are one of the in-demand developers or in-demand fresh grad. If you already know how to use Golang to program. And of course, Rust, one of the big must-have for blockchain developer. When our clients are looking for a blockchain developer, Rust usually comes up to the top. C++ and Java, of course. These are pretty much older languages. Starting point at 9,000 per month, of course, is again average. And if you do come across some of the crypto firms or equity firms, They could go up to 12K, 15K. Actually, these jobs have no cap. Depends on your employer, depends on the company. And of course, depends on your level of experience too. The next one, since we talk about AI so much, the algorithm engineer is also a very, very critical job for any AI companies in order to develop their products. So they do have to have strong quant skills, numbers, and then for algorithm, they also have different departments. One department is being image processing, another one is pattern recognition, machine learning. So the TikTok that you're using, all this social platform that you're using, they are using the algorithm engineer to learn what is your habit for using your data, for using your internet. And of course, the C++, Python, MATLAB, these are more of the tech stack. Of course, if you're interested or if you're already aware, this is something for you. Starting at 10,000, I think this is quite moderate for a 1 to 2 years because algorithm engineer, it is in high demand. And I think 2 years ago in my job, I already thinking somebody drawing 10K per month with 1 to 2 years experience. So it will still remain a high demand job. The third one, this one compares to the previous two ones. This one is more like a bread and butter. So full stack developer has been just very crucial and common in all these tech jobs demands. So full stack is pretty much, sorry, I just clicked this. Sorry about that. So full stack, let's talk about what are the tech stack that the clients are looking for. Some of the trendy and newer ones is the TypeScript, Next.js, and then for some of the most common and some of the most high in demand, in case my clients would say these are the must-haves, will be the React.js and the Node.js experience. And of course, being a full-stack developer, you know how to do backend, but you also have to know how to do front-end. So your front-end knowledge, HTML and CSS is also a must-have for this position. Starting from 6K, but we've also seen it go up to 12K, 15K. It really depends on the company, but we give you an average number from the starting point. Everyone all good on the slides? Does anyone else want to take a photo? All good? Okay. So let's talk about the new jobs in AI. So there is 75% of the company are expected to adopt the generative AI. I'm pretty sure ChatGPT, everyone here has already used once in your life. I hope so. If you have not, please go check it out. What is the generative AI is going to do for you? Secondly, it's going to be about 30% increase in this related jobs. Type of jobs in AI, I think this we can just quickly go through. I think previous slides have kind of pointed out. So data, again, the data words are still here. Cybersecurity, machine learning, also really important. Machine learning usually goes side by side with algorithm engineer. Skills needed, Python, C++, MATLAB, and then this is the technical part. What I want to address is the non-technical part, which is the soft skills. Because this is really important, and I think we got reminded day-to-day basis by the clients. The second point, the logical thinking and your problem-solving skills. Because these are the point that the clients and the employers, they cannot see on your paper CV. What usually they will try to assess the candidate on the first 1 round to 2 rounds of the interview is their logical thinking and their problem-solving skills. Because why would we employ someone to the company? We want them to solve the problems that we already have, right? If they don't solve the problems, they are probably not considered, add-on value. So how do you show through that? It's really important when you're either in person or online. These are not necessarily coming from a technical question, but it's something from like a logical question that they ask you. They get to know how you think step by step. Then the next point also tied together with this one is your communication and your collaboration. Some of the engineers that we spoke to, they really just cannot communicate. They will just prefer to be a very individual person. Sometimes companies will be okay with it if you're really top tier engineers and then you already have a big team, they will let you do that. But most of the time, they would love their developers to be a team player, to be a team people person, right? Because especially in this day, we have the hybrid mode, we have the remote worker. So if you can't even be there in person with your teammates and you don't communicate, nobody's gonna get things up, right? So communications and collaboration, that's soft skills are really, really important that I really must address. And finally, of course, analytical skills, your mathematics and your algorithm, these are more of the technical stuff. Okay, so that's the AI trend for now. The next trend that we can talk about is the new jobs in green tech. Remember my first couple of slides, we talked about the green tech jobs? This is the numbers from the Singapore government. It will be almost 50,000 of the new jobs created by 2030. That's related to the green job sector. So what is some of the industry investment, right? Because Singapore, as everyone here, whether you're from here or not, if you have already lived here for some time, you know this city has always been evolving. It's very futuristic, and it's trying to be one of the greenest cities as well possible, right? So the first part, what are the government's investments are into? They're focusing on the city infrastructure. The greens that you're seeing outside this building, the tents that we're seeing, everything, this is infrastructures, right? Your streets, your transport, these are all the city infrastructure and construction. The next point obviously tied to the first point. Since building these new construction and infrastructure use up and wastes up so much energy, how do we also invest into the new renewable green energy? And of course, the transportation supply chain also tied to the first point. Finally, of course, we have our banking financial services industries. They're using a lot of computing energy. How do we make them renewable and more green? Agriculture and aquaculture, I think it's pretty straightforward. Basically, that's very green tech related. Next one, we can see. So yes, that was the green tech trends. The next trend I want to talk about is the remote work, and I think this is also going to be a buzzword continue on from this year. So I don't know about the audience here, right? But I want to say, raise your hand, how many of you here, if you're already working, you prefer remote work? If you prefer remote work, can raise your hand. Okay, I see some of the hands, right? Definitely raising. How many of you actually like to go into the office? You're like, I just have to go into the office, otherwise I can't work. Okay, quite equal. Another newcomer also raised his hand. He's like, he likes to go into the office. Yes, I love that. So yes, let's talk about the work arrangement, because it has become such a big thing since the last 2 years when we talk about this with our employer and our candidates. COVID year, nobody goes out. Everyone all stuck home. Everything is online, right? At that point, the remote work hasn't been established because everyone was just stuck at home. You cannot travel. That's considered remote work, but not the remote work nowadays. So how would it look like for you? I want to talk about one quote from our IBM CEO, and this is an article that I read just last week. He gave a pretty heavy words about people who only want remote work, okay? This is what he says. Basically, it's something along the line that if you are someone who only work well during remote, your career might suffer. And I want to go into why he said that. Because now what we're seeing a lot is, if this is your first job, if this is your first grad, do you have the expectation of getting remote work at the beginning? Or you're actually okay to delay a little bit of your freedom, maybe when you finish the first steps here, which is your onboarding. A lot of time we come across maybe junior or fresh grad people, or not even really, it's just when you're seeking for a new job. They forgot that this company is new to you, but you are also new to the company. How do they get to know you if you're not there in person and show face? We talk about show face, your FaceTime a lot, right? That's the first one. So when we're onboarding a new employee, it almost takes up to a whole year to do all the onboarding process. It's really important. We have the classroom trainings. Even myself, when I joined Randstad 4 years ago, our training is all conducted in person. There wasn't a COVID, there wasn't online. Everything in person. Second point, really important, is you are also new to your manager. So they need to provide that kind of on-the-job manager supervision. Of course, if you're already been in the business for 3-4 years, everyone knows you, you know everyone, that's a different story. And finally, the third point is not even just the professional supervision, right? Say, of course, onboarding is done, of course, the supervision is done. What about the bonding with your company? What about the bonding with your colleagues? You don't know anyone, nobody knows you. How are you supposed to get the teamwork done? So these are the three big reasons, maybe more towards to when you're first joining a brand new company, whether you be fresh grad, whether you be not. I think this could be some of the right mindset that everyone should take into consideration, because we are seeing employers, they are a bit turned off by the candidates who demands the remote work at the get-go. So that is the turn off for the employer. Of course, the next one, we kind of evolved, and let's talk about the hybrid work. How many of you here are currently in the hybrid work arrangement? I'll raise my hand as well. And then do you guys like it? Is it pretty happy? Good for you? I think so too. Yeah, so what is the work routine create for you in order to adopt into the hybrid mode? I think hybrid mode, by the definition of it, it just means that a couple days in the office, a couple days at home, right? Or maybe somewhere else. But of course, you only get to see your colleagues a couple days a week. Why is creating a to-do list so important? Because when you meet them, you want to get all the most productive and efficient with the time frame that you're in the office, say from 9 to 6. You want to make sure that those collaborative stuff to be done in the office. When maybe Monday and Friday, when you work from home, you're by yourself, or you're just with your family in your own comfortable position, those are the things that you can maybe less prioritize with the team. So to-do list is really important to help make sure the workflow is efficient, and your colleague won't feel like, oh, we don't really get stuff done while it's supposed to be in the team. The next one also important for the hybrid mode is the communication, because how many of us were stuck in our meeting room, top, business, bottom, pajamas? We've all been through that COVID year. We all are very familiar with Zoom, Google Meets, what else, right? All this, the one from ByteDance, all these Lark, right? Microsoft Office, Microsoft Teams. Those are all the videos meetings that we're super, super familiar. How do you communicate efficiently? How do you communicate through GChat, Slack? How do you get them respond? Also on your part, how do you also respond in a timely manner? So that's the second part about the hybrid work. Of course, the third part is a bit realistically. A lot of US office, a lot of US companies have already implemented it. A lot of managers, a lot of companies founders, they already announced everyone back in the office full time. So that's hopefully we can continue to have, whichever makes the most out of you. But this is just some of the reality check for everyone that's considered maybe changing a job. Okay, yeah, so we talk about so many jobs, we talk about so many positions and salaries. Where do we find these IT jobs, right? Of course, the general platforms we're really familiar. JobStreet, again, we were here for the event. JobStreet, LinkedIn, My Careers Future, the government one. So all the jobs are posted on My Careers Future very, very clearly and truthfully, because they have to post the right salary range in order to get MOM approval and MOM inspecting. If you're looking for the internships, if you're just still in school, or you feel like it's more safe for you to do an internship right after you graduate, there is InternSG, there's Glints. The next one, startup jobs. Also, these portals provide some of the internship as well. E27, Tech in Asia. The Verge and TechCrunch are very much international. Some of these websites, they have subtitles for all the different area, regions, and countries. Well Found, which is ex-AngelList, very, very startup-focused job board, and also globally focused. Finally, we have the YC Combinator. And the next kind of section will be the industry jobs. So Crunchbase is one of the biggest, I think, job portals / you can find about any company on there for their founding status, for their members, if they already have the database, for their website, for their emails. Of course, some of the service, some of the functions is paid features. And then why would we say industry job? Because we do also provide this Web3 jobs. It is a job portal for everyone that is interested in Web3 section. So yeah, I think these are some of the job portals. If you still need to take a photo, let me know, so I will not go through it. And I think this is also kind of our last slides before our Q&A as well. So yes, the last slide. So all my talking, all my presentation, all the data points, what would it do for you? If you would like to register a talent account with Randstad, this is your QR code. We will be happy to connect with you whenever there is suitable job opportunities. We're also happy to hear more from you as well, whether you be a job seeker point of view, whether you're an employer point of view, you're looking for the talents, please connect with us. This is the QR code for Randstad, and let's find work that feels good. And then again, Randstad, we're a company that is human forward. So I think we'll go into our Q&A time if the time is still okay.
Yes, so thank you very much once again to Chia from Randstad. Can we have the floor open to questions right now? If you have a question, just simply raise your hands and we'll go up to you to pass the mic. Any questions?
Any questions? About jobs, about salary?
I think salary is definitely something
Salary
that.
is right. I think the salary side, everyone is like taking photo, making sure.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question right over here. All right. So, what is your name?
Josh. Hello.
George. G-O-R-G.
George. Okay. Nice to meet you, George.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for sharing. So, since you are in the technology sector, maybe my two questions for you. First being banking and finance, earlier you mentioned in your slides. So, I would like to understand when you talk about computer energy, right? What is computer energy? Yeah. So, under what forms of computer energy do they actually, in the banking and finance sector, do they actually use it? Yeah. Do you mind giving some examples? Yeah.
Yes. So that was pretty much under the fintech, right? So a lot of crypto, which is also a lot of, I guess, traditional banking and financial services companies that they're trying to adopt onto. They're trying to use blockchain and blockchain technology. Some of them they're kind of get their foot into the crypto space as well. I'm not sure how much everyone here know about crypto, but actually crypto really requires a lot of the mining energy and computing energy. So that is when we talk about the fintech, the banking and financial services, that's where I'm coming from because I work with a lot of clients in China. They really have a land just for these kind of factory computing, just being there mining Bitcoin, mining crypto. So that takes up a lot of energy, right? So that's why my point was like, how do we still continue having that kind of technology, but have way less waste and energy, consumption.
Converting it to green energy.
Sorry?
Converting it to green energy.
Yes. Yes.
Then the second question, also from the crypto context. So if we do not use the cryptocurrency and all this, or Bitcoin, will the banking sectors and banking and finance sector still utilize a certain amount of computer energy on a daily basis, like in the traditional forms?
I think the banking right now, the traditional form probably less, but I think a lot of banks right now they have their digital transformation side. So for instance, your Standard Chartered Bank, they have SCB Ventures, which is the total digital transform part of them. So of course, everything on there is online banking, right? You don't go into the actual bank anymore. Online banking, this requires a lot of computing energy. It requires a lot of, your web application, a lot of capacity, right? So that is when we say the banking and financial services, since a lot of people don't even go to the actual banks anymore, when you do the online banking, all these financial services, and I'm just talking about maybe from a customer banking point of view, there is maybe B2B institutional banking, right? Those are all the computing energy that you're using because everything is now online, right? And then the banks, they have to adapt to it because nobody really goes to a banking queuing line, of course, if it's an emergency, but I barely use my actual debit card. Everything is online. Your app, all these are all by computing energies, all computed behind by the developers, right?
So follow-up question. So this is still different, still not my second question, but a follow-up question. Are you aware of any proposal or proposed methods that they have actually proposed to actually convert computer energy that is utilized by the banking and finance sector into green energy for the moment?
So I'm not aware of exactly which banking or financial services companies are going to utilize already, but just recently I met someone from the network, actually it was from Job Street networking events, and that's why I was invited to this speech here. It's some startup that they're trying to initiate energy for maybe lower CO2 emission, right? So these are the things that a lot of researchers and data scientists, they're working on the back end. But I'm not sure, I cannot give you an exact proposal because I'm not in their industry, in terms of like which banks they're going to apply or which financial service company is going to apply. But I think the green tech, absolutely for itself, it doesn't matter which industry is going to adopt it, it has to be what we're going to go forward because we are all really hot here, we're all sweating. Climate change is real, right? We're trying to save the earth, we're trying to save energy. So that would be basically for the green tech, yes.
Then the second question would be, what do you foresee AIs like ChatGPT? I think the other one is mid review or something, and there's one that starts with B. What do you foresee them replacing or displacing the tech sector in terms of the three positions that you have actually listed above with the Randstad ballpark figures for the salary? Yeah. So the job positions.
Yeah, so I think the AI has become a really big topic that everyone is talking about, right? Especially the generative AI, right? A lot of different opinions kind of come from both sides. Some sides are saying that it will be replacing a lot of people. I think I heard a more of an interesting take is it will only replace the people that will only work on, like they only use generative AI to do their job. I think generative AI won't replace these jobs entirely, the 3 jobs that I just mentioned, but I think they will actually help if you find a right way and find a right collaboration, right? Because a lot of startup founders right now, they're actually utilizing generative AI a lot, right? It is really, really powerful if you use it the right way. So I think if you are one of these 3 jobs, you know how to actually utilize it to enhance your job instead of like just let it do your job. I don't think you'll be replaced. I think it will actually be helpful. But if you, yeah, of course, if you only use that to do your job, then the company might as well just use it, right? It's free. So if you know how to enhance using it, I think it will actually be helpful.
All right, we only have time for your last follow-up question. Yeah?
Then do you think using these AIs like ChatGPT or whatever, would it you reduce the amount of computer energy that maybe say banking and finance sector utilize?
But when you're
If they
using
were to use it one day.
I think generative AI at this point has been just I think it's at a stage that's very much like B2C focus, as in like it's just to the personal users like us. Maybe there is some chats in the background where banking sector or financial services sectors, they're going to just use generative AI in general for B2B or internally use. That one I'm not sure yet, but I think in general, as long as generative AI is still there, it is still on computer, right? It's still online, it's still on the web apps, right? So I don't think that will be, I mean, your question is that, is it gonna be more green tech related if they're using generative AI? I don't think that is essentially relevant. I don't think so. But at least it helps people to be more efficient. I think everyone has already benefited from it. As long as you don't let it use you, you know how to use it in your upper hand. It should be a tool that you can use instead of like replacing you. Yeah, so I think that will be the last bit of it. Hope that's okay?
Yes.
Thank you, George.
All right, thank you very much for those questions, George, and thank you once again to Ms. Chia Wen from Randstad for actually, answering all of those questions very professionally and for, giving us such an insightful presentation as well. Let's give her another round of applause, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.